KTSM 9 News Now starts right now.
Whiplash at the border after going back and forth in courts. Good evening. Thank you for choosing 9 News Now. I'm Skylar Soto. Estela has the night off. The controversial immigration law known as Senate Bill 4 is on hold once again, just hours after the Supreme Court gave the green light. Our KTSM 9 News reporter Tirza Ortiz is live at the U.S.-Mexico border with how local law enforcement plans to handle the bill should it go in effect again. Tirza.
Well, good afternoon, Skylar. That's right. Just hours after Supreme Court gave Texas the go-ahead to enact Senate Bill 4, it was kicked back down to the appeals court. Now, as the court is hearing disputes, local authorities are speaking out about how the immigration law is going to impact the border community.
We're seeing a federal agency stretched to its limits, and they have far greater resources and greater manpower than we do.
The El Paso County Sheriff's Office Patrol Commander Ryan Urrutia saying their department will not be prioritizing the enforcement of Senate Bill 4.
We're not going to participate in task forces. We're not going to go out and seek to receive grant funding to bring it to our community.
Commander Urrutia saying the law will be problematic for the community.
Cause extended response times, absences in patrol areas. We want to be able to respond when community members need help. We want to be visible.
Not only for response times, but financially too.
We could see an influx in our jails, which ultimately gets passed off to our taxpayers.
Just how much?
Over $87 a day to house somebody without medical complications or other issues.
That amount multiplied by 2,900, which is the number of beds available. The commander stressing cost to taxpayers isn't the only issue.
This could put us in a situation where we could see jail closures because we would be at capacity.
On top of the lack of capacity, there is no training assigned to local authorities to enforce SB 4.
We are unfamiliar with federal immigration law. That's not our job responsibility. Our job is community safety, community policing.
Leaving the door open for a number of legal ramifications.
There's a possibility we could send somebody that's here legally or even a United States citizen, arresting them, and that's something we're concerned about.
Skylar, on top of Commander Urrutia's other concerns, he's
Tirza, thank you so much. Now, Jaguars and the El Paso County Attorney's Office have reached a settlement agreement in the lawsuit against the owners and operators of the former club. Under the settlement, Jaguars will be closed permanently. And the attorney's office says if the owners choose to open a new business, it must have a license to serve alcohol and cannot be a sexually oriented business. Last month, the county attorney's office and multiple law enforcement agencies served the club and 2 of their managers a lawsuit with a temporary restraining order. Now, for the more than 750 calls made to police from the club and the more than 25 violations of ordinances for sexually oriented businesses, including failure to have a business license and sexual exploitation. And new at 5, KTSM received calls and emails from viewers as early as Monday concerned that their water had a strong scent of chlorine. The reports coming in from homes in the Far East El Paso areas, and El Paso Water addressed these concerns today. And our KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltazar has more.
Officials with El Paso Water saying that the heavy chlorine smell in East El Paso neighborhoods is an indicator that river water is finally reaching their homes. As we reported last week, El Paso's river water supply started flowing from a dam just south of Elephant Butte, reaching the borderland a few days later. Expecting to have 30 weeks worth of river water this year, El Paso Water has been transitioning from groundwater to river water. But before distributing it to customers, they said they have to disinfect it with chlorine, adding that river water requires higher concentrations in groundwater to be disinfected. Regarding residents' concerns over the smell of chlorine, El Paso Water is saying there is nothing to worry about.
The occurrence of chlorine smell in the distribution system is actually a good thing. That means that the water is fully disinfected and is safe to drink.
Trejo explained that their water distribution system in East El Paso is much larger and therefore have to pump more chlorine into the water to ensure that it reaches their furthest service areas in Far East El Paso. Trejo said that the smell and taste of chlorine in East El Paso neighborhoods will begin to disappear in the next few weeks as their tanks and pipes begin to get used to the new chemistry of the water in their system. From the Rio Grande, Jesus Baltazar, KTSM 9 News.
Thank you so much, Jesus, for that report. Now let's get a first check of the forecast. Our chief meteorologist, Robert Bettis, is live at Columbus, New Mexico for today's Small Town Spotlight episode. Hey, Robert, how are the winds out there?
Live in Columbus, New Mexico for our Small Town Spotlight. Now, the winds were behaving much of the day, but of course, expected they're very gusty on the eastern slopes. 32 mile per hour, and the temperature is dropping. 65 at the airport right now. Now, we're going to warm up significantly tomorrow, but we're still going to deal with winds on Thursday. Full winds coming in for the weekend ahead on Sunday. If you're hungry, what about the Borderland Cafe? Of course, we're learning a lot about Columbus, New Mexico, how it was really a turning point for America. And joining me now is the owner and her daughter, Camilla and Adriana. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Okay, what do we have right here?
Okay, so we have the best green chili burger that you can possibly find in the Southwest. It has hatch green chili with Mennonite cheese. And then we have the enchilada fries with jalapeno sauce that we make here in the house as well, and with Mennonite cheese. How is it?
That is a surprise attack of green chili deliciousness.
Right? It is, right?
What are you going to name a treasure like this?
The Pancho Burger.
The Pancho.
The Pancho Burger.
The Pancho Villa burger or just the
Pancho Burger? Burger.
Talk about surprise attacks of delicious flavor.
And it's that Mennonite cheese, too, that makes it so good.
Truly magnificent. Coming up, I'm going to have your forecast. Talk about the winds. We're going back to the Depot Museum so we can hear from General Pershing himself.
Ooh,
all coming up in just a little bit. Back to you.
Bye.
All right, Robert, thanks so much. That looks really good. Now taking a look at our traffic right now. The time is 5:07. This is I-10 in Trowbridge. There seems to be a backup. We are in that rush hour that we all know, 5, 6 o'clock. So people are starting to head to their evening activities, pick up the kiddos, head home, maybe to some dinner plans. But of course, make sure you are staying alert and aware. There doesn't seem to be any emergency lights or vehicles in the view that we can see at the moment, but there seems to be that congestion on the I-10 as well and the access side road. So make sure you are leaving with enough time. Now, our preview of Small Town Spotlight continues, and coming up, we take you inside a shop that's been near Columbus, New Mexico for 30 years. People even travel from around the U.S. just to visit. Then we send things back to Robert, and he's got your exclusive 9-day forecast. Thank you for watching KTSM 9 News Now, putting local first.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderlands' only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Frank or toss to? Well, hello everyone. That was a mighty delicious burger. General Pershing, nice to see you. Actually, this is Bruce Wager. He is the treasurer of the Historical Society. Nice to see you, sir.
Yep.
Love this uniform of General Pershing. Before we talk about how Columbus, New Mexico, and Pancho Villa changed the military of the United States, let's talk about these gusty winds for just a moment. All right, here comes your exclusive 9-day forecast. Now, we can expect a high tomorrow of 77 degrees. Those winds will be gusting to close to 40 miles per hour, partly cloudy skies. Then for Friday, perfection achieved. Sunshine, 80 degrees, and joy. Winds pick up in the afternoon on Saturday with a high temperature of 84. Outdoor plans, make them Saturday because powerful winds move in on Sunday. Gusty winds, raindrops, mud balls, the whole works. 68 the high temperature that day, and then even colder as that cold front continues in on Monday. Winds get a lot better as we push in toward the middle of the week. High temperatures start to get warmer and warmer. Before the United States became a world power, militarily, it had a bumpy beginning, and this Pancho Villa and its attack on Columbus was a wake-up call. Tell us about that wake-up call.
Well, it was base called Camp Furlong, and they were training cavalry tactics for horses and maneuver and stuff. And the day of the raid, the guards responded, and then the lieutenants responded, and Susie Parks responded. She made that phone call, and that brought in Blackjack Pershing. That's a picture of him and his wife up there, Helen. And you have George Patton Jr., who later on in World War II becomes the famous general.
And he trained under Pershing?
Yes, he was one of his lieutenants and went into Mexico with Pershing in the Great Pursuit of Pancho Villa.
So Pancho Villa decided, we're going to raid this town. America decided, oh, that's not acceptable. But it also helped get us ready for World War I. How did it do that? What changed?
Okay, so we were the cavalry post, and they bring in the mechanized infantry, and they start to use that. And there was also an air base here that over there in that picture, and they had the Jenny, and they used it for aerial observation, so the pilots would fly and locate, and as your Army Air Corps becomes Air Force, becomes Space Force.
Wow.
And the cavalry base goes into mechanized vehicles and other such things, and Patton becomes a tank commander from a cavalry officer.
All from Pancho Villa. They mechanized, they started using aircraft in combat. This history museum is absolutely incredible, rich in history.
Just a little beyond that, after the pursuit, it's 1917, 16 being when the raid took place. They go down, they come back. World War I is about to break out, and these guys have all this experience and training with the equipment. They bring people in from all over, and they start training here, and they wind up in France, where Blackjack Pershing is the commander. And George would be like a major by the time it's over.
Fantastic. Bruce, thank you so much for that great information. Wow, and I think we owe a lot, Fort Bliss, to what happened right here in Columbus.
You're welcome.
You stay with KTSN 9 News.
Well, welcome back. Today we are debuting our third episode of Small Town Spotlight, and this time our crew traveled all the way to the village of Columbus, New Mexico, and that's where we find our very own Monica Cortez and Oriana Botaro. Ladies, I've never visited Columbus, so how's it out there right now?
Skylar, you know, I haven't visited either. We have the expert right here, but I can tell you it's nothing but just a very charming town with lots of Mexican hints here and there.
That's right. Like Monica said, it's truly a town filled with so much history, and right now we're at Los Milagros Boutique Hotel, and there's just so much history here, but that's going to be coming up at our later newscast. Right now, what we want to focus on is, Monica, probably one of the coolest stores that I've ever visited in my life, and it's just a must. It's just walking distance from right here from Columbus. Yeah. It's like a 10-minute walk.
It's on the other side of the border, right?
It's on the other side of the border.
We have to say it's in Las Palomas.
Yes.
And it's called the Pink Store.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my God, I can't wait to learn much more. Check it out.
Well, it's our life passion.
This is either the first or last stop that people make once they cross in or out of the U.S.-Mexico border. And as you can see, this feels like a museum filled with pottery made from local artists, all kinds of artwork, and amazing food from what they tell me.
La comida está bien rica, muy
¿Qué
buena.
estás comiendo?
Tacos de camarón. We pride ourselves in having fabulous food. We grow our own red chile, our beans, and our food is very good, if I may say so.
With over 30 years in business, the Pink Store is known for its unique Mexican-style handmade artwork.
And our store it's a mirage of pottery and furniture and paintings, all different types of artwork from throughout Mexico. Someone said to me from El Paso last week, they said it was on their bucket list for quite a while. I said, really, your bucket list, the Pink Store, but why? And she said, well, I just heard it was a lot of fun.
And it's not just El Pasoans. People from all over the country make their way over.
To pottery. It's always new and exciting and some really fun stuff. And socks and jewelry and vanilla.
If you've been in there, it speaks for itself. It's a lot of fun to look around. The food is really good. And honestly, when they hand you a margarita when you walk in, that's not all bad.
I like the colors and the creativity.
You really have to come and experience it, and we hope that you enjoy it.
Wow, what a unique place, and how incredible is it to have the one and only owner of the Pink Store, Yvonne. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Monica, you're so sweet. We're delighted to be included in this live. Thank you so much for coming to Columbus and for including us from the Pink Store in Palomas.
Of course.
You know, Yvonne, it was such a pleasure visiting your store, and I learned so much. I had the best Mexican food. And you were telling me that this business has been in your family for many years. What does it feel like for you now taking over, and how have you seen it evolutionize over the past few years?
Oh, wow. Well, this is in the Pink Store. The concept of the Pink Store is third generation. We're like fifth generation business owners. And as everything that is worthwhile in life, it's a privilege, a commitment, and a challenge. So you just get back to the first one.
Oh, that's incredible. And you know, we just heard from Oriana, people from all over the country come, and you have such beautiful things there. How does it feel to have so many different people from all over the country to visit your store?
Oh my gosh, well, we're definitely honored. We're honored to host them and to share with them a sparkle of Mexican hospitality and culture. We have art from many different states in Mexico, and so we're just delighted that people would want to come visit us.
And lastly, I wanted to know, for anybody that's wondering, okay, when I go eat there, what should I get? What would you recommend? What's a must?
Well, I had a little girl yesterday, and she's like, I'm excited. I'm at the Pink Store. I'm going to have the best beans ever. So they're on most of the plates, and hopefully whatever you get, you'll love. But the beans are delicious. Some people say many places they eat them last. At our place, they eat them first.
Oh my God. Okay, so now I need to go to the Pink Store. I can't wait to go on over. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you so much for including us. Please come visit.
Absolutely. And like Oriana said, we have a lot in store for you, so we can't wait to get to it. But first, let's go ahead and send it over to Skylar Soto back into the studio. Hey, Skylar.
Thank you so much, Monica. Now, happening today, the Borderlands' two professional soccer clubs will meet for the first time ever in front of fans. The El Paso Locomotives FC and FC Juarez will play in a friendly match under the lights of Southwest University Park. And that's where we find our KTSM 9 sports reporter Sam Guzman with more. Hey there, Sam.
Hi, Skylar. You know, we always talk about Las Cruces and El Paso, UTEP and MSU being this big sports rivalry here in the borderland. But tonight we're getting introduced to a new rivalry. A rivalry on the pitch as El Paso Locomotive FC and FC Juarez, two professional soccer clubs that sit on opposite sides of the U.S.-Mexico border, will come together tonight to clash on the pitch for the first time ever in front of fans here at Southwest University Park. Now, let's put this into perspective. These two clubs have met before. These two clubs are actually owned by the Mountain Stars Sports Group, and again, they have met before. They've played each other in preseason friendlies that have been played behind closed doors, most recently 2 years ago in Juarez. But this is the first time Los Locos and Los Bravos will meet on the pitch with ticketed fans in attendance. We're going to see both passionate fan bases packed into Southwest University Park. It is truly going to be a spectacle, and both clubs are excited. This vision they've had for a while is coming to fruition.
I think this is a huge event for both teams, certainly for ownership, something that probably should have been a game that we probably should have looked to do earlier, but you know, as we've been working together more closely the last 18 months, this is a game that we felt ready to play.
It gives us a platform in order for other people outside of this region to see this region and to learn about El Paso and Juarez throughout soccer.
We want to give a good show to the Borderplex, and I think it's a fantastic game for the community.
I think it will be a nice game. The first official match is friendly. The people who come from El Paso to watch us play, and now people from Juarez going over. I think it will be something nice to enjoy.
Now remember, this is a friendly match. This won't affect either team's record, but you have to imagine bragging rights and club pride is on the line. Now, El Paso Locomotive FC announced earlier today that Southwest University Park is completely sold out for tonight's friendly. So it's a big deal. Again, we've got both passionate fan bases coming to the Sun City for this friendly match. You can expect both teams to be playing more of their younger players. We can get more into that later in sports. We'll have much more coverage at 6 with that being said. For now, I'll send things back to you in the studio, Skylar.
All right, thanks so much, Sam. I'm kind of jealous, and I can't wait to hear more about this in the 6 o'clock newscast. Well, stick with us after the break. Robert has a final look at your forecast. This is KTSM 9 News Now, putting local first.